I want to talk about two very important events in history, separated by 89 years. The Titanic disaster in 1912 and the World Trade Center attacks, the terrorist attacks in 2001. You see, both the Titanic and the World Trade Center, those were huge megastructures. It took many years to build them. The Titanic was state-of-the-art for that time. The White Star Line, who owned this ship, they made it with watertight compartments. So if there was the ship was hit by something and there was a hole in the stem, you could close the compartment and the ship would still float. And you have the World Trade Center. Also, they have emergency exits and guards, and the whole aviation industry. It was hit by two planes, so there were airplanes involved in that event. They check the passengers before they go into the airplane, check their documents, they scan these suitcases. Still, these terrorists were able to enter the airplane and take control over it, and crash the airplanes into the building. And I mean, the Titanic. As I said, the White Star Line, they told the passengers that this is the most modern ship. It's pretty much unsinkable because it has all these safety features, these watertight compartments, and it's so huge, so it's invincible. It's an invincible ship. Nothing can happen to it. There are no threats whatsoever to it. You can just relax, enjoy your journey to America. But still, this accident happened. The Titanic hit the iceberg, and there were 4 or 5 compartments that were filled up with water. So if there were only 3 compartments, they could seal them off and the ship would still float. But now there were 4 compartments filled up, and that was more than the ship could handle. So these safety features did not help. So the ship went down, and the unsinkable ship went down to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Everyone was surprised. It was a terrible event, and the unthinkable really happened here. And same thing with the attacks on the World Trade Center. I mean, a few guys, a few Arab terrorists, equipped with box cutters, they were allowed into this airplane. They passed security, they checked the luggage, and they still managed to enter the airplane, and they stabbed the stewardesses and the pilots. They took control of that plane and managed to fly it and crash it into these buildings. And I mean, these buildings, when they built these buildings, they thought, I mean, all the people in New York, in America, they thought these buildings, they are so secure, they will last 1,000 years, like the pyramids. And it's not possible to tear them down, to just ruin them, to make any damage, and they will be there forever. But a few terrorists managed to take these huge buildings down. So no one believed that that would be possible. And this both the Titanic disaster and these World Trade Center attacks, they were like a wake-up call for society, for the whole Western civilization. So we have to sit down and reconsider ourselves, that we are not invincible. And I mean, the Western world is always going forward, but we have to pull the brakes once in a while, and we have to think about ourselves as we are vulnerable, and we should have that in mind. Once in a while these catastrophes happen, and you don't know when they're going to happen, and no one is safe. So we have modern technology that doesn't help always, because didn't help in the Titanic disaster, didn't help in the World Trade Center attacks. Now they have increased securities. I mean, the door into the cockpit of the airplane is closed, so you can't get in there without any authorization. So we learn all the time, constantly learning. But you know, the bad guys, you know, these disasters always take things to another level, a higher level. So we have to outsmart them. We have to be intelligent to meet the new threats that may occur in the future.